Ooh, what's going on, everybody? Average Arcader here. Welcome back to what was it? Advanced City Builder. I went ahead and finished the city. I had so much fun. I didn't want to keep stopping and keep going again and stopping and going again. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go ahead and just go ahead and finish it, and then I'll show it off to everybody, and they can tell me if they liked it. So this is gonna just be a tour of the city and my final thoughts on the add-on as a whole. I like city builders. I would say that this one is a particularly good one, especially once you get to a certain point, you won't have to worry about the money resource at all. What you're going to be balancing is the people. You have to balance getting your population up, and the unemployed and the employed and the happiness meter. Uh, Even when I got it done, I think I got the happiness meter up to about, I want to say 40%, 40, yeah, just a little bit under 50%. I didn't really get it to 100, but it's not one of those things you have to max out. You could try, but it's gonna be kind of hard if you're trying to actually just focus on creating a unique looking city. So here we are kind of in the industrial section. I will say this. One critique is I wish there was more industrial style themed buildings. We've got factories, but there's only one type of factory. It would have been cooler if we could have had maybe two or three different types of factories. These right here is actually city dumps. They're pretty clean looking for city dumps for me. So I kind of put a lot of those in here in this area too, and then cleaned everything else up with a lot of parks. like a decent part of the town started, like a little chunk of it started to where you're making a good amount of money per minute. Just sit there, or a decent amount of money. You don't need to make it just decent. Sit there for about 30 minutes playing one of the mini games. I was doing the cops one where you throw the handcuffs at the criminals. Do that for about 30 minutes, and then by the time you get to the point where you're balancing the people and the population and the unemployment, by the time you do that, you probably won't run out of money because you'll be making enough money each minute. By then, plus that big boost that you got, you'll be able to buy whatever you want. And then eventually it just gets to the point where you're not even going to be thinking about the money you're making. You're just going to be making so freaking much. Okay, now this is we're getting into the housing area, and I've kind of got two kind of neighborhoods going. I've got the middle class over here, then the more ritzy side of town goes around this edge. As you can see, these are the villas and the big villas and the fancy housing. You gotta have that. You gotta have that. Then over there's the more, working class style houses. Still nice, but not as ritzy as these guys over here. Yeah, I like how they have everything's like villas, not me. That would have been cool to see people at least driving around, like cars driving around, to make the city look a little bit more alive. I love how the city turned out. I think it looks really cool, but it doesn't feel alive to me. It kind of does at night because then everything lights up. All the different lights that are on all the different buildings and houses light up, and that's kind of cool. But other than that, there's nothing else going on. I would love to have seen at least some cars being driven around just to make the city look more alive. Okay, we are in the downtown area. Now, again, I ran into a problem here is there are different types of buildings for each class of building. But getting them to trigger sometimes when you're building them is hard. And rebuilding and building, rebuilding and building, rebuilding and building gets kind of old. So I ignored it and just kept going. I still got a decent variety of them to spawn. And I mean, it's a downtown area. They kind of look like that. Some of these are housing. Some of these are actually work-related businesses. I don't remember which one's which. I think this one here is housing. And I think that's housing. Or is that housing? No. Well, some of some of these are big housing. Some of these are pretty cool. Like I said, I like it. I like how these look, especially this one. This is the one I believe is the big one that you can buy, that you can actually go into and go to the top. This one's housing. But you can actually go in and take the elevator up to the top. It's actually pretty cool. Pretty nice view up there. Maybe I'll go up there later when I get done exploring this. So, again, moving on. These right here, if you're wondering, those are parking lots. There's a lot of them in the downtown area. And I would have liked still a couple more buildings. A couple more skyscrapers to use. Like I said, there's only a variation of maybe about 2 or 3, maybe 2 actually. I think there's like 2 per each type of building, because you have a like work medium, then a work skyscraper, then a housing development skyscraper. I think there's only one. Then you have the skyscraper that you can make. That's a special, unique building that you can go inside and buy things. I think that's about it. And I said I was able to use it, and I came up with some pretty cool. I think there's 2 different versions of that as well. I was able to make some really cool stuff, but I really would have liked more variety and the ability to choose exactly which one is there instead of having to build, then destroy, then rebuild again. Now you can, I think this one over here is the bank. Yeah, that's the bank, a special unique bank you can make. But when you go inside, it just instantly lets you do the mini game, the bank mini game, where you have to find the lockbox that has the money in it. I did if we're there yet. Yes, there we are, over there. I did in between. You can see I've got all kinds of stores, restaurants, all in between to kind of make up in between the buildings. other things I can set up and or buy or have to pay attention to. Maybe pollution. You know, we've got factories and power plants. Maybe a little bit more industry buildings, maybe some conventional ones, maybe non-conventional ones, and I have to balance that too as well. Other than that, I think the variety was good enough. I only really had to really repeat when it came to this little industry district. That was it. That's the only time I had to repeat a lot of the same things. Everything else I was able to make its own section. As you can see, I kind of have the apartments are kind of within their own thing and have their own thing going. Housing has their own thing going. And I didn't really have to stretch any of that. This is what I was going for. The only thing I had to stretch in was the factory section. All right, guys, tell me what you think. Does this look like a game like you're interested in? Have you played it? Do you like it? Let us know in the comment section down below. If there's anything else you guys think I should play, also give me that suggestion. Unfortunately, I've got a lot to cover, so I can't cover everything, and I tend to favor my subscribers and my supporters first when they recommend something. So if you're not subscribed, you're not a supporter, like joining the membership, think about it. It helps us grow, and you get priority, especially when it comes to commenting and requests. All right, guys, before we leave, I'd like to thank my channel members, Elijah, M4 Penguin, and Blockster. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being a channel supporter. And if you guys would like to join them, it's easy. Just go to the main channel and hit join. Even the support channel, which is only like $2 a month, helps. Or just simply make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification button. All right, guys. Average Arcader out.